I've spent a decade taking a bite out of conspiracy theories, unraveling urban legends, and grappling with worldwide top secret issues.
I've even racked up some of their awards.
Wow, I mean, first of all, what a question.
Journalism is about telling the truth.
All while ferreting out the bottom line.
I'm a Harrison Hellraiser.
My mission is to inform viewers
Who want to get to the truth within the unknown.
on all topics, controversial, bizarre, and taboo.
You've taught generations how to view the world in a positive way.
Yes, I have.
I know that, and your humility is the part that's really exciting.
Interviewing movers and shakers, agitators and muckrakers.
That doesn't answer my question. That is all I'm answering.
With me, Terry Harrison, as your guide.
Harrison with you. This is Go Harrison, coming to you on WCOBM as well as on KPFK, as well as utalk.us and a variety of other affiliates here and there. Everybody, ask your grandmother, going way back in time, ask your parents about fluoride. And it's been very controversial. Should it be in the water? Should it not be in the water? What actually does it do? According to your dentist, it's good for your teeth. And why are you drinking it and putting it through your liver and your brain? Aha! Those are the big questions. Well, now the data is out. Straight ahead. I want to invite you on a one-time only special trip to be one of the first people to sail to Cuba in 50 years. With interior cabins for a week-long, 5-star luxury cruise ship voyage around the entire island of Cuba with multiple port calls starting at only $16.98. Be among the first in 50 years to see Cuba while it's still the Cuba that people talk about.
From Hollywood, this is Harrison.
We're talking right now to Michael Connett. He is the executive director of the Fluoride Action Network. You can find them online at fluoridealert.org, fluoridealert.org. You have to know how to spell fluoride, but Google will do that for you. It's kind of easy and handy, and up will come all the links, everything you ever wanted to know about this. We're looking definitively now at what fluoride does to the human body. It's enough to make you think twice. Let's take a quick peek.
As a result of fluoridation, our children will be healthier and happier.
There is no health hazard that justifies postponing water fluoridation.
You're not dealing with a benign substance.
There's much too much risk for too little benefit.
Fluoride is safe.
They decided far too early, before the science was properly in, that fluoridation was a good thing.
The dental community has no idea of the toxicology behind fluoride.
Fluoride does not just affect the teeth.
Fluoride is a neurotoxin.
This is being drank by so many people throughout the U.S. every day.
But who's responsible? Who's the doctor making sure we're not getting too much?
The weight of evidence actually is more in the favor of fluoride doing damage than against.
This is against all principles of modern pharmacology. It's really obsolete.
Michael Connett is executive director of the Fluoride Action Network, and you can find them online at fluorideaction.org. And you are a group that is international now. Understand that fluoride has been ripped out of the water supplies across Europe, around lots of the world, because the data is out. It damages the body. It lowers the IQ by some 6 points, which is the difference between Einstein and Donald Trump. I mean, there's real... That was a joke. There's real evidence out there that fluoride is damaging now.
Well, just for starters, it's a good point. When in the United States, we typically, when we think about fluoride and fluoridation, we typically have quite a tunnel vision view. We only think of the United States. And dentists will often say, well, we used to have horrible teeth back in the 1940s and 1950s. We started adding fluoride to the water.
What, on Cary Grant, Gary Cooper, John Wayne? I don't remember those horrible teeth. But that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, we did have bad teeth, a lot of cavities back then in the 40s and 50s, and we have seen an improvement in cavities over the past 50 or 60 years. But what we failed to do here in the United States is look at the rest of the world, and particularly Europe, where they rejected fluoridation en masse. I mean, 97% of the Western European population does not drink fluoride in their water, and their teeth have experienced the same improvement in oral health over the same period of time. So in the United States, this notion that it's because we added fluoride to the water over the past 60 years that we've seen this improvement in oral health is really a tunnel vision view that doesn't take into account the experience of the entire Western world.
All right, so Michael Conant, I'm going to show you a quick video. I used to do an environmental piece called Think Green, and we broke down fluoride exactly this way.
Think Green with Harrison.
As global warmings launch new environmental concerns, fluoride in tap water once again rears its ugly head. So why all the controversy if it's good for the teeth? Turns out the stuff in common tap water happens to be a sister compound to sodium fluoroacetate, a common form of rat poison. According to studies by the Case Institute, the byproduct of phosphate mining, in which they make fertilizer and laundry detergent, is liquid fluoride. So toxic it costs $7,000 a barrel to bury. Now, in bed with the government, companies can avoid expensive burial costs by diluting fluoride in city water supplies. Tap water goes directly down the throat and through the body's major organs. Liver and kidneys then receive, ready for this? Lead, cadmium, phosphorus, selenium, mercury, silver, chromium, arsenic, and uranium-238, radioactive, by the way. Turns out the federal government subsidizes it by giving block grants of up to $100,000 for cities to start adding fluoride to their tap water. An EPA source told me the chemical companies joke, the solution to pollution is dilution. Better to poison a lot of people a little than a few people a lot.
Think Green with Harrison. Visit or email Harrison on the web at www.goharrison.com.
It's the uranium-238 that my body craves, that's for sure. Fluoride in the tap water is actually introduced on purpose by the municipal water systems, but it's actually given as block grants, which we saw. But if applied directly to a tooth at a minute amount, it does have a positive effect. But we're guzzling it and putting it through our body organs.
Well, I think that's an important point. When we started fluoridation back in the 40s and 50s, the dentists believed you needed to swallow the fluoride. And that's, adding it to water. You swallow the water.
Because the dentists grew their teeth on the inside.
And one of the really important discoveries in the later part of the 20th century, and the Centers for Disease Control has acknowledged this, is that fluoride's primary benefit, in fact, probably its only benefit, is from the topical application to the teeth. So there's no need to swallow the fluoride. So that, I think, raises a real basic question. Why are we adding something to the water which is undeniably toxic at a certain level when you don't need to swallow it? It's not about denying people the right to have fluoride. Fluoride is readily available. You go to the grocery store, you get it in toothpaste. It's in tons of dental products. You can brush it on your teeth, you spit it out. That's the sensible way of using fluoride. To expose your entire body to this substance is very reckless, and to force people to take it against their will is even raises real ethical questions. And there are serious health risks that are now on the table. Fluoride doesn't just affect the teeth. Fluoride affects the brain, and in 2015, the journal, the Lancet Neurology journal, prestigious medical journal, classified fluoride as one of 11 chemicals that are now known to damage the developing brain. Can cause things like reduced IQ, behavioral disorders. We have 50 studies now since 1990 finding associations between fluoride exposure and reduced IQ in children. We have over 30 animal studies finding that animals exposed to elevated levels of fluoride have impaired ability to learn and or remember.
Well, it's a good thing humans aren't animals.
And that's what we're looking at today is we're looking at a situation where they don't know, there's lots of questions that need to be still investigated. What are the exact doses that cause the effects on the brain, the thyroid gland, the bones? The U.S. health authorities have never done the necessary research to really understand how fluoride is affecting our entire health. And we're flying blind. But we have major red flags today that fluoride could be contributing to learning disorders, behavioral disorders, thyroid disease, particularly hypothyroidism, which is very common, particularly in middle-aged women.
Causes depression, complete exhaustion.
Yep, and we have, fluoride is known at certain doses to weaken your bones. So we're looking at potentially many chronic health effects that are associated with our growing exposures to fluoride. And we don't have the necessary data to know if it's safe for who is, and there are vulnerable populations. You've got to remember, not everyone responds to fluoride the same. Some people can be resistant. They can have big doses and be okay. Some people can have smaller doses and be harmed. So we got to move away from treating everyone as if they're the same. One dose does not fit all when it comes to fluoride.
And if you're just joining us, this is the voice of Michael Conant, especially if you're listening on radio. He's the executive director of the Fluoride Action Network. You can find them online at fluoridealert.org. And when he's talking about a dose, it turns out that fluoride is added not as sort of toothpaste in the water supply, but it is a medicine. And it's a medicine that the more water you drink, the more of a dose of medicine you get. Imagine if it were an antidepressant and it was in the water supply and you drank a gallon of water every day, or blood pressure medicine. This is basically the same thing, and it's highly toxic, it turns out, and has been removed from a lot of the water supplies around the world because they found it simply not safe, and people aren't consenting to being forced to take medicine. And we can thank the Germans in World War II for the Nuremberg trials, which made it illegal to introduce medicine without people's permission. And this is still happening in the U.S. So let's flash forward. I'm looking at tweets here at Go Harrison. So what do we do? How do we get it out of the water? Can I drink bottled water, for instance?
Well, thankfully, most bottled water is going to contain low levels of fluoride.
Yeah.
A small minority of bottled water can contain elevated levels, but generally speaking, it's low levels. And if you are drinking the same bottled water all the time, I recommend contacting the company, asking them what the fluoride level is. They should have that information readily available. But generally, bottled water is going to be low in fluoride.
What about the Brita filter?
Britas and pure water filters do not remove fluoride. They use an activated carbon filtration system that does not remove fluoride. To remove fluoride from your tap water, you got to get a fancier system, a reverse osmosis, activated aluminum. So the more expensive filters is what you're going to need to get the fluoride out. It's very difficult to filter out of the water.
It's a tiny molecule, apparently. And once upon a time, when aluminum became all the rage in the United States, aluminum siding, aluminum this, of course, all of our soda cans are aluminum. The side effect of aluminum production is sodium fluoroacetate, or whatever this stuff is, this fluoride, and they had to get rid of it. And so we're drinking byproduct of aluminum production.
Well, today it's primarily the phosphate fertilizer industry, which,
the gypsum mining in Florida?
In Florida, it's the capital of the phosphate industry in the United States. We're getting more of our fluoride today from China, which I think should raise questions. What's the quality control like of these Chinese industries? All fluoride chemicals added to water are and have always been industrial waste products. Fluoride is a very significant and dangerous environmental pollutant, industrial pollutant.
Yeah.
And so industries are perfectly content selling us their fluoride waste for fluoridation. But one of the issues that should be considered is that industry in the 40s and 50s was facing massive lawsuits for fluoride pollution. They were emitting it out of their smokestacks, they were exposing their workers, and those lawsuits across the country for environmental and human health damage. Industry started funding a lot of universities to research fluoride, its effects on human health and the environment, for the purpose of defending itself in court from claims. And that research that industry conducted in the 40s and 50s served as sort of the foundation for the public health community's understanding of how fluoride affects our health. So if you look at, from the very beginning of fluoridation, it has been informed by biased, motivated, industry-funded science. And we've yet to disentangle that. So our whole understanding of fluoride being this pristine, perfectly benign, innocuous substance has largely been informed, if you go back to the roots, by industry-funded science. And industry had every interest in the world to see that fluoride was safe at high levels and wasn't going to cause harm.
And to your point there, we're going to take a look at a final clip. This is the one dose for all, and we cannot underscore it is being delivered as a medicine without your permission. And this is how the one dose affects everybody.
There is absolutely no drug on the market that's given in a one-dose-fits-all situation.
It's absolutely obsolete. It's in modern pharmacology, it's so clear that even if you have a fixed dose of a drug, the individuals respond very differently to one and the same dose. Now in this case, you have it in the water and people are drinking different amounts of water, so you have huge variations in the consumption.
You can have an athlete, a laborer, who are drinking many, many times the amount of water. You can have someone who's diabetic, who's drinking a ton of water compared to the average.
I mean, the whole name of the game in pharmacology is to deliver the right dose to the right person at the right time. And that's not what fluoridation does. It can't.
And that seems to be the big problem, is that a medicine put in without your... Ask your doctor, except you're not. You're just being handed it. I want to thank you so much, Michael Connett, Executive Director of the Fluoride Action Network. You can find them online at fluoridealert.org. And final statement on fluoride?
Well, if you want to use fluoride, brush it on your teeth and spit it out. But make sure if you do use fluoride in your toothpaste, look at the poison warning on the back. It says, if you swallow more than used for brushing, contact the Poison Control Center immediately. Fluoride is not a benign substance. It's very toxic. Be very careful with how you use it. The last thing we should be doing with fluoride is adding it to everyone's water supply, whether they want it or not. It's time to follow Europe's lead, take it out of our water, and let those people who actually want to use it get it on their own and use it on their own. That's the same.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael Connett. Harrison with you. This is Go Harrison.
From Hollywood, this is Harrison.
Well as utalk.us and a variety of other affiliates here and there. Everybody, ask your grandmother, going way back in time, ask your parents about fluoride. And it's been very controversial. Should it be in the water? Should it not be in the water? What actually does it do? According to your dentist, it's good for your teeth. And why are you drinking it and putting it through your liver and your brain? Aha! Those are the big questions. Well, now the data is out. Straight ahead. I want to invite you on a...
From Hollywood, this is Harrison.
We're talking right now to Michael Connett. He is the Executive Director of the Fluoride Action Network. You can find them online at fluoridealert.org, fluoridealert.org. You have to know how to spell fluoride, but Google will do that for you. It's kind of easy and handy and up.
Controversial, bizarre, and taboo.
You've taught generations how to view the world in a positive way.
Yes, I have.
I know that, and your humility is the part that's really exciting.
Interviewing movers and shakers, agitators and muckrakers.
But that doesn't answer my question. That is all I'm answering.
With me, Terry Harrison, as your guide.
Harrison with you. This is Go Harrison, coming to you on WCOBM as well as on KPFK as well.
I've spent a decade taking a bite out of conspiracy theories, unraveling urban legends, and grappling with worldwide top secret issues.
I've even racked up some of their awards.
Wow, I mean, first of all, what a question.
Journalism is about telling the truth, all while ferreting out the bottom line. Uh-oh.
I'm a Harrison Hellraiser.
My mission is to inform viewers
who want to get to the truth within the unknown
on all topics.
One time only special trip to be one of the first people to sail to Cuba in 50 years. With interior cabins for a week-long 5-star luxury cruise ship voyage around the entire island of Cuba with multiple port calls starting at only $16.98. Be among the first in 50 years to see Cuba while it's still the Cuba that people talk about.